Senator from Louisiana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with me today is Mr. John Lowry, who's one of my colleagues from my office, who's been a big help to me. Mr. President, as you know, when Vice President Harris and President Trump ran against each other for the presidency, one of the planks in President Trump's platform was that he was going to review every penny of federal government spending. Why did he say that? Why did he promise to do that? Well, first, there's a moral principle involved. People worked hard for their money, and when they give it to government, they're entitled to expect government to spend it efficiently. Number two, President Trump ran on that plank because of our debt. The federal debt is $36.5 trillion. You know, we throw these numbers around like a trillion, you know, we start to take them for granted. To give you a little perspective, this $36.5 trillion, it grows bigger by the second. It's going to increase. If we just keep doing what we've been doing, it's going to increase $1 trillion every 100 days. If we just keep doing what we've been doing, it's going to increase $10 billion a day. Today, nothing changed. We added $10 billion in debt. That's also $417 million an hour. That's $6.9 million a minute. I think I've been talking about a minute. We just added $7 million to our debt. That's why the president wants to get rid of spending porn.
What if I told you that a nonprofit with just $100 in the bank was handed $2 billion of your tax money? This isn't fiction, it happened. And the name tied to it all? Stacey Abrams. From government waste to eyebrow-raising grants, today we're diving deep into how a new organization connected to a political powerhouse walked away with billions from the Biden administration. You won't believe the details. Federal spending has skyrocketed to an unimaginable $36.5 trillion. That's over $417 million an hour. Now imagine this. While Washington debates cutting back, a massive chunk of taxpayer money is being funneled to nonprofits you've probably never heard of. Let's talk about one of them, Rewiring America. Stacey Abrams, two-time Georgia gubernatorial candidate and political activist, took on a new role in March 2023. Senior counsel at Rewiring America, a startup nonprofit with no business history. Their mission? Apply for grant money. Their first IRS filing in 2023? In October 2023, Rewiring America joined forces with 3 other groups to form a new, nonprofit Power Forward Communities. And here's the kicker. Their reported total revenue that year, just $100. No track record, no accomplishments, but they had the audacity to ask for a $2 billion grant.
So, in March of 2023, not that long ago, Ms. Abrams went to work for an organization, a nonprofit, called Rewiring America. You've probably seen that name in the news. Rewiring America. Ms. Abrams' title, she went to work for Rewiring America, her title was senior counsel. She was paid for her work for Rewiring America. We don't know how much, though there'll probably be an investigation to find out. Now, nonprofits like Rewiring America, Ms. Abrams' group, they have to file documents with the IRS. And one of the documents they have to file is called Form 990. This form by the IRS asks a number of questions about nonprofits. One of the questions the IRS asks is where it is for the organization, the nonprofit, to list its accomplishments. Rewiring America, Ms. Abrams' group, told the IRS in 2023 on this Form 990 that Rewiring America was, quote, this was Rewiring America's, quote, startup year for the organization. And the form goes on to say that the only accomplishment Rewiring America listed was that it had, quote, joined a coalition of other national organizations to apply for a grant from the Inflation Reduction Act's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. In other words, Ms. Abrams' organization told the IRS that this filing was their first ever tax filing in 2023, that the organization was a startup, and its purpose was exclusively to seek a grant from President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. Fair enough. So what do we know about this coalition that Ms. Abrams' group wanted to form? Rewiring America, Ms. Abrams' group, announced on October 12, 2023, that it was joining Habitat for Humanity, it was joining United Way Worldwide, and 2 other organizations. And these 4 organizations were going to form another nonprofit, a coalition of nonprofits called Power Forward Communities. So you've got Power Forward Communities up here, you've got Rewiring America and some other organizations down here. And all together they make up Power Forward Communities. And they also announced that a gentleman by the name of Tim Mayopoulos, a former Obama administration appointee, would lead the coalition. Now, as a nonprofit, I told you that Rewiring America had to file forms with the IRS. Well, so did this new group, Power Forward. It had to file Form 990 as well with the IRS. According to its filings, Power Forward had just $100 in total revenues in 2023. According to the IRS filing, it didn't list a single accomplishment. I've seen Girl Scout troops with more business credentials. Yet Power Forward Communities, of which Ms. Abrams' Rewiring America was a part, had the audacity to ask the federal government for a $2 billion grant.
6 months after forming, the EPA under President Biden approved a $2 billion grant to Power Forward Communities. That's billion with a B. For what? Heat pumps and energy upgrades. Seriously? Forget accountability. Forget due diligence. This grant wasn't about results. It was about political connections. Meanwhile, the national debt climbs by $10 billion every single day. How did a startup nonprofit with no experience secure more federal funding than entire U.S. cities?